Hi everyone. So today I'm gonna be sharing and talking about my experiences with my piercings. I don't have that many. I only have my singles, doubles, cartilage, and nose. But I actually just got my singles and doubles re-pierced last night. I had them pierced in March of 2017, but they got infected, and I'm gonna go into all that. But I had them pierced before, and I just got them done last night again. This is just gonna be about my experience with a not so good shop and my experience with a pretty good shop. Like, I love them. It's just gonna be explaining how stuff was kind of different and how they treated me differently, and just explaining the different process and healing time that I'm having. While this has only been in for a night, this has been in for a week now, and I'm just gonna be going into it a little bit. I'm gonna start off and say I don't have any makeup on. I just find it kind of stupid to put makeup on right now because I can't put any on because of my nose ring or my nose piercing, and I just don't want to waste makeup and put on the rest of my face but on my nose, so I'm just not putting any on. So we're gonna have to deal with the bare face for a little bit. But I'm gonna be talking about my first experience. This is the not so good one, but I'm gonna explain what made it not good. So I first got my singles pierced when I was 9 months old, but I don't remember that. So like, I'm not gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about the experience I had after that, which was in 2017. So I was talking to a lot of my friends, and my friends had had their doubles done, and I was asking them where, and they said a few places by my house, but I wanted to make sure the place I was gonna go to was really good and had good reviews. I found one, and they had really good reviews, and they looked really reputable, and I was like, okay, we'll go there. So I brought my dad because I was only 16 at the time, and we go there, and the shop was really clean and everything, so I give him that. I talked to the lady at the counter, and I specifically told her I could not have nickel jewelry because I'm allergic to it and I have a reaction, and I'll for sure get an infection if I have nickel. So she was like, okay, we have non-nickel options for you. So I was like, okay, great, like that's perfect. She showed me them, and I got them, and everything was good. So then the guy who pierced me, he did my doubles, and he looked at my singles, and he was like, oh no, those aren't pierced, like you need to get them done now too. And I was like, oh, okay. For some reason, he didn't use a needle. Like, I went to a place that used a needle, not a gun. He used the piercing I was gonna have in my single. So it's almost like he was doing it like Claire's. Like, he literally just pushed the piercing through. And I was like, that's a little weird, but like, okay. He told me all the aftercare and everything like that, gave me the instructions, and he said,
I didn't put the back on tight, so if it swells, nothing would happen. So the back is not on that tight, so just be careful.
And I was like, okay, cool. My piercing was fine the first night, and then the next day it started hurting a lot. And for the first 2 weeks, like, my lobes were hurting a lot. And I heard that wasn't normal with the lobe piercing. Like, a cartilage, yeah, like my cartilage is still hurting today, but that's expected. I started to get a little worried, and when I was cleaning my lobes, like, they weren't moving at all. And so my mom looked at the back, and it was like all the way to the back of my ear. And I was like, he said he wasn't gonna put it on tight, so I don't know why he did. And it was on so tight, I could literally feel how tight it was. And so I just kind of left it because I didn't really like want to go back and have a mess with it more. I just left it. Okay, we're gonna fast forward from March to October now. Same year, everything. So October comes, and I start having crusties again, and I was like, that's not normal for like that many months later. And they started to get really red and irritated, and they started to swell up. And I was like, well, something's not right, so maybe we should try taking the piercing out and putting that in like a saline solution and letting that wash. Trying to get the piercing out was worse than the actual piercing. He put the back on there so tight, it literally did not want to come off. So it took us probably an hour to get all 4 of my piercings out because of how tight they were and how hard it was to get off. And then when we got them out, my ears were bleeding, they were swollen, pus started coming out because they were infected. And so I was like, well, I'm not gonna put them in when they're like this, so like, we'll give it a few days. So we gave it a few days, and my ears were still really red and swollen, but we put them back in, and we were like, okay, let's just like leave them in now, and if I keep having problems, I'm gonna go back to the place. So a month later, November, I found out I had to get surgery, and I had to take my earrings out for it. So I was like, okay, if I have to take them out, I'm leaving them out. So we took him out another hour because of how much it hurt and everything. We saw how infected they still were. So I went to the doctor and I asked her if she can give me antibiotics and stuff like that, and she said yeah. And she looked at my ears and she was like, yeah, these are like pretty infected, like they've probably been infected almost the whole time and you just haven't known. She was like, you're allergic to nickel, right? And I was like, yeah, that's why I had to get non-nickel jewelry. And she was like, no, these are not non-nickel. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, no, they're not non-nickel, like this is nickel. And I was like, well, then that's probably why they're infected. I told her I needed non-nickel jewelry. So that was like a really bad experience. I mean, they lied to me and said it was non-nickel jewelry and it wasn't. It was nickel, and that's why my ears hated it so much. The shop didn't, they lied to me, obviously. And that's what kind of really turned me off about it. That was that. Okay, fast forward to this year, 2019, February. I had not had any piercings after that. I didn't want any piercings after that. I was like, I'm over it. I'm done with it. I started getting tattoos at this place that's not even by my house. It's pretty far from my house. I started getting tattoos there. The best. I started looking at some of their jewelry just to like look, just to like see maybe if I ever wanted to get pierced again. And I was talking to the people there and they were like, oh no, we only use titanium. And I was like, perfect. So I waited a few months still and I was like, oh, well, I really want to get pierced again, but I just don't want that same experience. So I figured if they use titanium, nothing should go wrong. That is when I got this bad boy. Got him last week and the piercing experience was so good. The guy did it so quick. He was so nice about it too. He walked me through everything pretty much. So it was a really nice piercing experience. And then I went back last night with my friend and boyfriend because he was getting his tattoo. So I figured, okay, me and my friend are just gonna get pierced. So I got these, got my cartilage and my singles and seconds done again. I was gonna get my thirds done, but I got to my singles and I was like, I don't think so. So that's it on this ear too. And we got pierced by someone who was learning to pierce, but she did so good. We were literally like, you can't even really tell she was learning to pierce. She made the piercing experience so awesome too that I actually want to go back for more piercings like now. It's like an addiction once you do it. Anyways, they just made the experience so much more pleasant. The guy that did my piercing in March of 2017, he rushed it totally. He literally didn't even tell me he was doing it. He just did it and I was like it didn't hurt, but still, like, it was a surprise. But yeah, that's pretty much this video. I just wanted to kind of give you guys information and kind of awareness of choosing a good shop to get pierced at, because obviously the first time I chose a not so good one and the second time I chose a good one. So just really do your research on places, and I honestly recommend for anyone, you don't get nickel when you are getting a piercing, because most people do have a reaction to nickel and it's just not a very good jewelry to have in your body. So I think definitely just go non-nickel either way, so make sure the place doesn't have nickel. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and if you do, like and subscribe to me. And if you guys want a video about my tattoos, I'll do it on that too. Thank you guys.